All right, guys, come on in and what is going on? This is the Club with the Man 1993 country for my live review of this week's episode of WWE 205 Live. These are kind of coming a little bit late. My schedule was busier today than I expected it to be, so unfortunately, I didn't get as much content out today as I wanted to. So, I've actually only watched 205 Live so far, so I watched 205 Live. I'll just review 205 Live now, and I'll take a break for an hour and go watch NXT UK. Review NXT UK as soon as that show ends. Come back here and watch NXT. Do the same with NXT if I'm not too tired, of course, the remainder of this evening. But I'll have to postpone my Fastlane preview predictions, though, until tomorrow. But anyways, guys, we're going to review this episode 205 Live. Took place, of course, it was March 5th, 2019. Took place in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, PA, which is, like a little like northwestern of Philly, I believe it is. It's up like the northeast part of PA. I never really been to that often. Like I've been to the southeastern part of PA quite a bit, but not the northeastern part of PA that often. But that's where it took place there last night. Better show this week. Last week's show, I mean, I like the opening match. I think the problem I had with last week's show was the card structure. I felt that, if Kendrick was not going to win that match against Gulak last week, then they probably should have had that on at like the opening match. And I would have rather seen Tony Nese and Kalisto main event like it did. And then the whole thing with Mike Kanellis, I thought it was going backwards. This week was better. I like the two matches we got. Well, we were supposed to have a third one, but never really happened, basically. But I saw a little bit of a nitpick about that match. But this week's show was good, but to me it just didn't quite set the world on fire for me. I guess I just don't quite find this championship tournament as exciting as it did last year. We're having some pretty good matches again. Nese and Kalisto was good. Kendrick and Gulak was mad, but the two matches we had this week I thought were pretty good, I thought. So we'll get into those and talk about the matches, and then we'll get towards NXT UK after I watch UK, which will be next. So let's get into the review and talk. The show opened up as always with Drake Maverick hyping us up for our two matches tonight, which the main event was going to be Cedric Alexander and Akira Tozawa. The first match, though, is going to be newcomer Humberto Carrillo taking on NXT's Oney Lorcan, which I'm not upset Oney Lorcan got this opportunity, but I don't know. I feel like, I was expecting someone a little more, because I don't want to say Oney Lorcan sucks. I think Oney Lorcan is great. I do like the guy. I like his tag team with him and Danny Burch. And even I do see some like mid-card singles potential in him for sure. I don't see him being a world champion or anything, but I think he could be a mid-card someday. He's kind of like a smaller Cesaro to me, in my opinion. But I feel like I set the bar a little too high, hoping for someone like, I don't know, like Roderick Strong or like Jordan Devlin or like, maybe even Travis Banks, a Kiwi Buzzsaw, or even like Tyler Bate. I was kind of hoping to be like a little more of a surprise in this. Oney Lorcan just wasn't the highest on my pedestal, I felt, for this tournament. But I don't want to put the man down because, again, he still put on a pretty good match tonight. And before, of course, that match happened, we had a little bit of a video package for Oney Lorcan, introducing himself. It's hyping up that, how his style can mix very well with, anyone else's style, and how, like, he's going to take advantage of his opportunity that, Drake Maverick has given him. We also have a handy cam promo from Humberto Carrillo talking about how he came to 205 Live to fight the very best, and he intends to make it to WrestleMania. Simple for, a babyface versus babyface match. And I thought him and Carrillo had a good match. The only problem I had with this match, though, is shoot. Anyways, but I lost my train of thought, but I'm good now. But I thought the whole point of Carrillo kind of being monitored by Gulak and Gallagher was to have him tone. They're trying to teach him to tone down on the high flying and kind of wrestle more so, their style, basically, if you know what I mean. I didn't think, it looked like Carrillo toned down a little bit. I'm not saying just because he tried doing that, high-flying move, towards the end when that just kind of cost him the match when, Lorcan got both feet up and hit that belly-to-back suplex or whatever heck he calls it. It's called a half Nelson suplex. I'm sorry, he hit to beat Carrillo. Of course, we see backstage, we see Gulak and Gallagher, kind of cheering him on. But again, I feel like, they should have had Carrillo toned down just a little bit more, but he still did some sub-flying, high-flying moves. Not as many as he usually would, but do like a little bit more, tone down a little bit more, I feel, if they're really going to go on the storyline. Now he's really, taking it to, Gulak said Gallagher's advice. So I was a little disappointed to go there, but again, Oni Lorcan still kind of lived to his word, and had a solid match with Carrillo, adjusting to his style. And to my surprise, he won the match. So obviously, we know who he's facing next week in the second semifinals match. Again, I don't know though. I just don't feel, even after watching him, I'm just not feeling as energized for him as I was last year when I saw Roderick Strong and him and Buddy Murphy put on some really stellar performances in the Cruiserweight Championship tournament. But I still think he put on a solid show, but it's just that not as high caliber as I thought it would be. But he still put on a solid performance, and I give him the credit. And so Oni Lorcan's going on to the semifinals next week against the winner of the match between Akira Tozawa and Cedric Alexander, our main event in the show. Backstage, we see Mike and Maria Kanellis complaining to Drake Maverick about not being in the tournament. He said, "I promised you another match. I didn't promise you, though, another tournament." And they're more upset, though, when he reveals he's fighting a local talent, like Scranton Wilkes-Barre's own Colby Corino, I think his name was. Yeah. And of course, it's just for, Maverick saying, just for helping you get a victory and, get the ball rolling again, just like starting back from scratch again. Even though, again, him winning the matches that he was, or not, he was losing the match that he was getting. The best match I still think he had was against the Brian Kendrick. The match with Cedric Alexander felt he kind of went back a little bit, I felt. So, I don't know, I guess I'm a little bit mixed about how I feel about him doing this. The match was supposed to be next, but the match didn't even start. He just beat down on Colby Corino, and he basically just beat him down without even letting the match start. So it ended in no contest. So I don't know, if I was Mike Kanellis, I would have had him just have the match, absolutely squash him, and then beat him down afterwards, make a statement. Not just if he wants to get a win, then he just. He kind of blew his own opportunity there, basically, So I'm not sure. We'll see what happens next for Mike Kanellis. I don't know. Again, I was feeling it a few weeks ago for him, but now I'm starting to not feel it so much. But still, his wife, though, I'm really feeling for her. Again, just getting a little too carried away. But anyways, we then see Tony Nese get a handicap promo pledging that he's not the same man he used to be, because next week he's going to be taking on Drew Gulak, which that actually interested me, because last year, of course, we all know they faced in the first round of the Cruiserweight Championship tournament, and Gulak kind of went to, different lengths to defeat Tony Nese. And Nese wants to prove that, he's not the same man now. So does that make me wonder, okay, maybe, because again, the only person I feel right now is that could benefit for winning this tournament for sure is Tony Nese. I feel like, he's, Gulak's already gotten championship opportunities, Oni Lorcan, again, I like him, but I'm not feeling him for being, in the WrestleMania match right now, as of now, for a championship. But Cedric Alexander and Tozawa have had the opportunity. So I'm still rooting for Tony Nese. So are you going to make Tony Nese the babyface? I don't know. I'm still, we'll have to wait and see, of course, what happens, next week with that match. Our main event, though, was Cedric Alexander taking on Akira Tozawa. And I thought this match started off a little slow at first, and then I also, before the match, backstage, Alexander had a promo saying that we all know his story and what drives him, and he tells Tozawa to give him everything he has, and they'll see who wants it more. And I thought this was a good match, some good back. I mean, the first half was a little slow. I mean, Alexander obviously, did show a little more of a heelish side at one point in the match. I remember when he was kind of like, just, ramming shoulder first, he ran his shoulder to Tozawa's gut against the apron and whatnot. And these guys began going to, some higher lengths to, definitely win his opportunity. Tozawa even took Alexander out the ring a little bit. They had some good back and forth action. It kind of reminded me of what we see between, Andrade and Rey Mysterio. I felt we got back and forth also, but then eventually Alexander yanked Tozawa off the off the turnbuckle while he perched, and then he hit when Tozawa was going, because Tozawa was getting set to go for his diving senton, but then He caught him, though, and hit him with the lumbar check. A really nice looking finish to win the match. So Cedric Alexander, obviously, you couldn't have just a guy who, was your champion a couple months ago just losing the first round. I mean, Tozawa, Tozawa beat him, women all right, but we've always seen Tozawa beat him, so obviously it felt like Cedric has something to prove here. So, obviously we're going to get Cedric Alexander, Oni Lorcan next week, and then Drew Gulak and Tony Nese. And again, the only person I really want to see win this tournament now is Tony Nese. Afterwards, we see Tozawa and Alexander embrace as a sign of respect, which is cool with me. So I give this episode a B. Again, was a good episode, better than last week, but nothing seemed too fresh to me, in my opinion. Nothing really lit the world that much on fire for me. It was still a good episode, 205 Live, better than last week's, I thought. What grade would you give this episode 205 Live? Your thoughts down in the comment section below. And stop, like, go to the video, subscribe to more content on my channel, follow me on Twitter and at the Mayor Everybody 3. And guys, I'll see you guys in an hour for my NXT UK live review. So until then, guys, I will see you all then. Peace out, everybody.